I'm going to explain to you how to make obscene amounts of money as a new player in Escape from Tarkov. So, if you're a new player, there's a few different ways to go about this, and the real question is, are you like super insanely good at games like Valorant and CSGO, or are you coming into this with just kind of like moderate to mild experience at shooter? Like, it really matters, because there's two different paths for you, basically, to make money as a new player. As a new player, if you're really good at Valorant, CSGO, you just go in with geared up and you just hope you kill tons of people and loot and get out, obviously. But that's probably not why you're looking up this video. If you're just more mild or new and you're feeling like you're getting killed all the time and stuff, then there's a few different ways you can go about making a crazy amount of money, even when you're just still a low level and just new to the game in general. So it depends. Do you use the flea market? Do you not have the flea market? That affects a few things, but the basic idea is you're going to find a budget build. There's lots of videos on YouTube for budget builds, and I'll probably make my own video for budget builds early game at some point. But you're gonna find out your favorite loadout, whatever it is, whether it's one of these guns or whether it's I think this one was decent. Yeah, this one, or whatever else. And you're going to always come in with some basic ass loadout, and you're gonna put on like this cheap ass sling, some cheap ass stuff. You might not even want to take tactical rig till you get a better feel for the game, and then you're gonna go in with stuff in your pouch that you're willing to swap out if you need to, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna you don't really have to play as a rat, but it's kind of a, I don't know, a mix of play styles. And there's like a goal for you also in order to make this money really get extreme as you go on. But first thing that you need to know about is maps. Oh my god. Okay, so how do you map this game? So generally what you're gonna do to make lots of money as a new player is you're gonna pick one or two maps, ideally just one map, and then you're going to study it or look up or like guides for all the loot paths for it and stuff, and find like good loot routes on that map, and then just run it back over and over again. Now also, you can practice it yourself. You can enable practice mode, and then you can turn it to where there's no scavs or anything, and then you can ready up and you can run in and go test out like your the loot spawns and stuff and get a feel for where all the loot is. Literally make money. You just know where the loot is, and then you can farm money like a mofo. It's crazy. So, for example, once you've done that enough and you've like learned whatever map, so let's use Interchange as the example. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your budget loadout. Ideally, you're just gonna have something to defend yourself with, a quick sling, and if you feel like being risky, then go ahead and take like that cheap, the really cheap tactical rig, which would be this one from Ragman. Just grab that and whatever. And then go to whatever map that you've practiced now that you've looked up loot routes and stuff, and then pick it, obviously, whatever time, preferably daytime. And then you're going to go into it like you normally would. So make sure to turn practice off, though, if you had it checked on. So then you're going to go in and just go ahead and insure everything. Just insure everything that you can. Don't even worry about it. Because, if you have the same rig you run every time, then eventually what will happen over like the course of days, you die, and instead of having to buy a new rig, you just go to your messenger and you go and find one of the times where you got the stuff back, and then you'll get it and you'll get new sets. It'll save you a lot of money. So basically what you do is you turn your risk into almost nothing. So if you can get to where your risk is extremely low, but you can still defend yourself, but then loot routes for some really good loot, you can rush in and you go straight to whatever that is. And then as you find things, you throw the valuable things in your pouch, and then slowly move things out of your pouch and change things out in the pouch, and just keep building a valuable pouch, and then also just play the game normally. Then if you die, because your the risk that you took was so low, so like say with this setup, because of insurance, on average maybe I'm spending like 5,000 rubles or something, right? And in order to get that back, I just need like a light bulb. Or just some random item like that, right? Like one just item that's worth like 4,000 to 6,000, and I break even on all this stuff that you see right here, on average, if I insure it every single time. But then if you combo that with a good loot route, a decent amount of the time, you'll actually just get out with the stuff, especially once you've learned the map enough. And so like whether you're good at killing other players or not good at killing other players, you just go in, run this route, and you kill some people, you get out, or you don't kill people, and you just get out. If you're trying to get money, you can do that. And when you get a good route on a map where you've learned all like the valuable places, you can come out with hundreds of thousands of rubles. And I'll show you, as an example, I'll show you a loot route on Interchange here in just a second that you can just do the Interchange one. I'll show you the Interchange one. You do the Interchange one, you'll get rich. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get rich. But before we go into that, last thing here, your main goal you're going to be working towards is getting a lucky scav junk box. and also collecting certain ones so that when you unlock the flea market, you can make a crazy amount of money. So, for example, Tetris and graphics cards, just as quick examples, there's tons of them else other than this, but Tetris and graphics cards, GPUs, you collect these, and then when you finally hit the flea market, you know, by the time you get there, if you keep them instead of selling them to the traders, then you hit level 15 and just bam, you've got millions and millions of rubles because you've been collecting them all the way to level 15. So that's why it's nice. Your main goal is to get this just lucky scav junk box from the therapist for 1.1 million, and then just like collect things and sell whatever you don't need. I usually just sell whatever weapons and armor I find in the raid, because I just figure when I'm ready to go into weapons and armor, you know, I'll just buy weapons and armor. Like, especially if you don't know what you're doing, don't worry about it. Like, once you get the flea market, you can just get whatever you want, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. Like, if you accidentally sell like a level 4 thing and something I didn't know, it's not gonna be like the end of the world. But just don't worry about it. And then the last thing is knowing what loot is worth money and what loot isn't worth money. But also weighing that against your hideout, because, you know, even though you're trying to make money, it still is nice to collect things like packs of screws and things for your hideout, so that way you don't have to deal with it later. But yeah, so you'll slowly learn over time that some loot is only worth like 1,000, and some loot is going to be worth like a crazy amount for the slots that it uses. And so, for example, these phones are worth a crazy amount of money. The G phone, the GPX, the 1G phone, they're worth money. SSDs are worth money. But other things like wires, they're worth an okay amount. Tape's worth meh, you know, like, so it's like you'll eventually learn how much, which things give how much money per slot. For example, the hand drill gives 30,000, but it uses 6 slots, so that's only 5,000 per slot. So it's actually not that great, even though the total item is really good. So you just learn all these things over time, keep running the stuff. But let me show you a loot route on Interchange. And just to show you, I'll put it on practice mode to show you what I mean. I'll skip through. We're not going to watch the whole thing. Turn off AI, and then ready up, and let's practice Interchange. I'll show you exactly what you do. It's going to be based upon where you spawn. There's 2 really good hotspots, and there's more than this, but I'll just give you 2 to get started so you can see how easy it is to just get loaded rich on a run if you just rush in, don't get killed real fast. Okay, just to use Interchange as an example, you know, you just want to check your extracts and then figure out where you want to go. So Railway, for example, is going to be on the opposite corner of the entire thing, or we can use hole and fence on this map, which means we'll drop our backpack in order to get through it if we need to, which is why it's nice to bring one of these when going to Interchange, because then you can drop your backpack but still come out with a ton of loot. Or that's also why when going to Interchange, I bring 6,250 rubles, so that way I can use the Power Station VX car if I happen to get there. So generally what you're going to do is you're going to analyze your spawn based on whatever map you learn, and you'll, you know, just go practice whatever maps you want to do, and then you'll eventually learn all the things like what I'm saying right here. So generally, we're going to want to loot either the electronics store or the power station. But because I spawned over at the Emercom checkpoint, it's better if I just follow this fence and go to power station. And power station has a bunch of loot that can be worth a ton of money, actually. There's a few computers to loot and stuff, and there's an extract right near it. I'm just going to skip ahead. So basically, just going to follow this all the way down. Also, while we're going down here, I do want to point out the whole fence is between power station and the Emercom checkpoint. It's right over there, so you can just drop your backpack and jump out that gap there if you need to get out. So how we loot power station depends on what side we come in from, but I'll just show you all the spots, and then depending on which side you come in from, you'll know what to do. So the first one's going to be in this box on our way in from this direction. Kind of weird to jump over this, but there's a duffel bag inside of here, and inside these, you know, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you find good stuff. Sometimes it's just mediocre at best. So now, for example, I would also, I'm mean to use this water. So what I need to do is I need to, first things I find, I need to pop them into my pouch. So put this into the pouch just so I have something in there. So if I die, I'm now break even, basically. I don't know if that thing's actually worth break even, but in theory, you put that in and then you'd be break even if it's worth like 5K or something like that, if you insure all your items like I talked about. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to go around this corner, and there's this really good stash over here when you're heading towards Power Station. There's just a ton of loot on your way to Power Station. So once you see all that stuff over here on this side of it, way back behind these bushes, there's this hidden stash. And this thing can spawn all sorts of good stuff, but it's just totally hit or miss on how good that stuff is. But wow, we just found a bank robber thing. It's too bad this is not a real run. This is a practice run. But yeah. So that was pretty good stuff. I don't think magnet is worth more than A12, at least to buy to sell. So I'm just gonna leave it for now. But you could, if you didn't bring the A12, you could bring, you could throw that in the pouch then. So now what you'll do is you head down here, and there's these 3 rooms, each that have just crazy loot in them. So also, if you don't know, you can put backpacks inside of backpacks, and you can put rigs inside of backpacks and stuff, and stack them in order to get more loot condensed down and carry more stuff. So keep that in mind whenever you're looting stuff. So I turned the sling into 8 slots just now. So take this, examine this. Generally, ammo and gun parts are garbage as far as value, but if you don't have anything, you might as well just take them. But they're definitely not worth using a pouch slot. So keep that in mind when trying to get rich from this stuff. They're just, gun parts on average are just really just doo-doo, complete doo-doo. So you go there, I got unlucky, there was nothing in that, but then you go in this one. All 3 of these things I just loot can spawn some pretty decent loot a lot of the time. Green battery, I don't think was super good. No, green battery is actually pretty good. Everything's had like nippers in this wipe. But anyway, so grab that stuff, and then you're heading towards power station. That right there, that is the car that you get out with by paying with rubles. And so 1 minute wait, and then you extract. So that's why it's also nice to go, if you spawn your power station, to go this way to loot it all, because you can just get out right by it when you're done looting. So this building, you can come in 2 different ways, or 3 different ways, but we'll just come in right here. So in this side, there's 3 of these toolboxes, and these toolboxes can spawn things that are sometimes worth like over 10k per slot and stuff. So we're just gonna take whatever we find in here. T-plug's not very good. I'm not gonna deal with that one because I literally can't even carry it without dropping the bank robber. So not gonna worry about that. But yeah, you're just gonna loot all 3 of these ones, and then after that, there's also some jackets. So that thing I think is worth the amount. Kite is worth okay amount to traders at least. And all this is, there's no flea market yet if you're playing at this point, but eventually there will be, and then it'll change a lot of this. So I've never even had one of these before drop on this wipe, so I literally cannot even carry it without even this. I actually don't know what this is worth offhand, so I'm just gonna ignore it for now. But you see, you can find some really cool shit at the power station. So now I'm just gonna say you can loot those 2 things. There can be keys in those, or rubles, or if you're really lucky, like a key card or something. Sometimes loot spawns on this, so grab that. And then if you want to know what keys are valuable, you can look it up online. There's pages for it on the internet, different websites and stuff. Then you'll come into this room for your last bit of valuable stuff, and then you're gonna grab from the bottom of this, and these can all spawn things, or these don't. I'm not gonna open all of them, but you open each one of these, and then you're gonna loot computers, and hope you pray to God you get a graphics card, which would be amazing. But even if not, you can also get the cord's worth an okay amount. Hard disk drives can be exchanged for backpacks, and then the things that you really want, though, are like powered circuit boards or whatever they're called. I forget the name for it. The circuit boards basically are worth a decent amount to traders, at least in the early game. And then, graphics cards and CPUs are the main things. But there's other ones, too. I just don't remember them all offhand. Caps are not worth very much, so you only take them if you don't really have anything else that you want for that. But now at this point, I would want to put this Poxaram and green battery instead of the rubles. I probably should have done it sooner, actually. But yeah, I think these things, if I remember right, are worth a lot more than the other things. So now our pouch is worth like 20+K or something, I think. And at that point now, we no matter what make money, even if we die. Even if we die, we lose no matter what make money. So next we go over to this. Things often spawn on that, so check that. And then we go over here, and sometimes you'll see a hand drill or something like that on this. And then after that, if you went power station, if you came this way, you're done. If you came from the other way, you'll loot all this and then go over that way if you want to. Or if you're scared to death, you just get out now. And what you'll do is you'll go over to this car, and you'll spend the rubles, and then you'll back off and just wait. And you'll just double tap O periodically to see how much time is left till it leaves. And then when it's got like 8 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever, you just sprint over to it right before it leaves. So that way you're not just standing out in the open the entire time. Okay, so that's the first loot route that can make a ton of money. And you see, if I got out with this stuff, with everything I have right here, I'd be up like, I don't know, just the traders, I'd be up like 100,000 or something like that. And it's not like it's the craziest, most insane thing ever. But if you're a new player and you're just trying to find a consistent farm that you can run and try to learn the game, kill scavs and stuff along the way, and just slowly get used to the game while also making a ton of money. And even if you know the game really well, man, wouldn't believe the number of times I see like fully geared teams come over here because the loot can be really good here. Like I've come out before with like 250k worth of loot from going this way just by getting really lucky with what drops. But let me show you the other route now, which is much more sketchy. You're much more likely to run into other players. But if you spawn in a good spot, you can get there before anyone else gets there, and then at least fill up your pouch. And if you're lucky, you can get out before anyone else gets there, and then you just get in and out and come out with like hundreds and hundreds, or maybe even over 1 million worth if you get like a GPU or a Tetris and things like that, and have the flea market unlocked. All right, so now I'm going to run it back on Interchange to show you the other crazy loot route that's way better even, on average at least, if you can get a good spawn to where you can get there fast enough. And also I want to say one more time here that you can do this on any map. Just find your own loot routes, and then you just go into the budget build that you like, without you're not spending a lot of money, insure everything, and then run through and try to get it fast, and then try to fight anyone you see. And if you get out, you get out. If you don't, you don't. But at least fill that pouch up so you make money every time, cover your baseline, and then on average, you'll pretty depending how good you are, you'll often, occasionally, or frequently get out with an actual full load of stuff, and that's been like min-max, things dropped, things picked up in order to like shuffle around, get the most value. And whenever one of those happens, you're up like 200K, or depending on, once the flea market's unlocked, you can potentially come out of one of these up like plus 2 million or something, just by getting like 2 Tetris and a GPU or something or whatever on a run. So the best spawn for Interchange for trying to make a ton of money is that one where you spawn on like a highway up against that blue barrier over there. And there's one spawn right over there somewhere where you can go through one of those storage crates to get through the fence. And if you get that one, it's like the best one. It'll lead you right to here. And on this side of the mall, if you see this sign, the Ultra sign next to that sign, this is the ideal entrance to come into. So if you get a spawn that can come in from here, this is like the best case scenario to get in here before literally anyone else. Like if you sprint in as fast as you can, literally nobody will beat you here. So you're gonna go up these, and then you're gonna go over to the right, and then once you do this, you're gonna go down this hallway, and you should be completely alone if you got one of the good spawns and you were just straight to here. And then you're going to run down to the end of this hallway. You're going to skip everything because everything's just empty clothing stores. And then you're going to get to this first store. Now, we don't really care about this store, but really quick, I always go in through here and grab a few things just to fill up my pouch. So ideally, I'll find a few single things, like this CPU that's worth, like, I think 10,000 to the traders alone. So we grab that, and now we're break even or profitable on this run already. And then we'll grab this ram stick. We'll put that in the pouch, and now we are making crazy money already, even if we die. And then if depending on what's going on, because by this point you'll be hearing gunshots a lot of times, and you might be scared, so you might not even go this far into this store because you don't need to fully loot this store if it's too risky. But if you feel like you can, you can. But either way, I at least get the first shelf or two and grab 1 or 2 things for the pouch over there. And then you're going to run up this escalator and pray that nobody shoots you in the back. Because by this time, people may be getting here if they sprint here. You're going to go into this store. This store is crazy. So you can find insane stuff. So you're going to check this shelf over there. You're going to check these shelves. And then you're going to check the back side of these shelves. There's a relay. It's worth a little bit. There's some light bulbs back here that are worth, I think, 6,000 each to the therapist. So grab these. And then we're going to check this. Things can spawn on that. Check on that. Check on that. And then generally, if you're trying to go fast and doing one thing where you rush here as fast as you can, just want to loot it before you get killed, I generally check the front side of these shelves first, because that way I'm going to be vulnerable to getting shot at while I'm here early. I don't want to be here, I don't want to be looting the front side last, because that's when people might be coming up. I'd rather be on the back side so I have a chance to fight them. We got T-plug, we got drills, but you can find GPUs here and you can find Tetras here, so... there's PCB. PCBs are worth, I think, like 11K to the traders. And then check that shelf, and then we're good. Then you'll go over here, you'll peek at this one, see if there's anything good on that. There's another CPU, so now I would drop the A12, put in the CPU. I'd get rid of the rubles because the PCB is actually worth more than the 6,250 rubles. Sure, grab a CPU fan, and then we check these back shelves, and then we check the back side of these ones. And just, I'm not going to perfectly organize it, but, I would drop, like, the caps for the fan or something, I think. And then we check the little backside of this, check the backside of this one, and then check this one and see if there's anything you want to get. And then check the backside of that, and then check right over here for anything else that you might have missed. And then after that, you're going to, carefully check your corners here and stuff and see if anyone's come in yet. And if not, you're going to go across, you're going to check this, and then you're going to go all the way down this hallway. And this will lead to a whole nother loot path for you. So you can check over on the left, see if anyone's over there. You can slowly cross that if you want. It's up to you if you want to just, bum rush it or what. So then you're going to go down to here, and on this left right here, there's a box here that can spawn some crazy stuff. But it's hit or miss. And sometimes you find like body armor or something, or it almost always spawns as food, so you can at least eat some food. These are just gun parts. I'm not sure if they're worth money. They're usually not, so I'm just going to leave them. There's another box there, but that one's not lootable. It just looks lootable. And then you're going to go all the way down to here, and you're going to open up this door, and this will lead to a room that's like pretty much like almost as good as the electronics store, maybe even better. So you're going to go down to here, go down this staircase, and then right underneath of the staircase is another box that can spawn crazy stuff sometimes. So check this one, because sometimes you get lucky and there's just insane stuff in here to loot. Looks like there's going to be something crazy in here. Or not. It's just going to be a bunch of gun parts. Okay, well, yeah. So you can see like, what I mean. This thing can have just a crazy amount of stuff. If you have empty slots still. Oh, we got another rig. I wonder what's even... I don't even know how much space this one has. Okay, the exact same rig, basically. But I could put it in my backpack. I'm not going to deal with that. I could put it in my backpack and then, you know, have more slots, whatever. I don't really care. You see, there's good loot in that. You go into here, and then this one has a duffel bag there. There's going to be this thing right here. You might find keys or rubles. And then sometimes you'll find something on the actual desks. So do take a quick glance at the desks. And then after that, there's a CPU, not CPU, a computer over here that can have hopefully a graphics card, but it's rare. And then check over here. There's also a computer right there. And then you go around this corner, and there's going to be another computer right there. And then randomly, there's just like gun attachments up here. So check that, see if there's anything crazy up there. And then go over here, and there's another computer right there. And then you're going to go over to here, and there's going to be another computer right there. And then there's this thing behind, like on this shelf, which can just spawn all sorts of random stuff, like a gun or whatever. In this case, I think it just had, yeah, just gun parts, though, which is unfortunate. But it can spawn guns or whatever. Check here for, like, croutons or whatever else, painkillers. And then, I can't remember, I don't think there's any back here. Oh, no. Yeah, there's nothing back there unless you can spawn on the desks themselves. All right, open up here. Go into here. There's a duffel bag right there. You're going to grab that, too, and see if, you know, min-max your loot, see if you got anything else. Then you're going to head out this door. So we came in over there. And you're just going to swing over to the left and come out here. Obviously, you're going to want to check your corners when you come out. And then go over here and you loot this duffel bag. And then after that, you can go around this corner. You can go through here and take the door right there. But we're going to head over this way now. So at this point, if you're still alive and no one found you and you went through that, you're going to be geared, not geared, but looted to like crazy. Now, if you're, depending on how safe you feel, you either go for the exit or you can loot some of these. Sometimes there's stuff back here, mainly just food and stuff. So if you need water or food, you can check those if you're in like desperate need because you forgot to eat or something. But otherwise, you're going to jump over this and you're just going to sprint across this gap. And at this point, you're going to want to double check where your exit is. So is it Railway or Emercom? Depending on which one it is. A nice way to sneak out, though, regardless, is to come out through here. And then come out through here. And then go over to here. Now, if you go here, this way is Power Station. This way is Emercom. So if you're going to have to go to Railway, you're either going to go around the outside or you're going to backtrack and try to work your way through the mall. It would not be... The safest way to get out at this point would be just to head out over this way. There's some loot down there and boxes and things, but otherwise we go this way. There's also a thing back there you can check for loot on your way out. And then you're going to head out this way, and there's the Emercom checkpoint. But if you want to go to the Railway one, your safest bet would probably be just to get all the way out there some way, maybe go up this way and then come down over there, and then just follow the outside of the map. If you go back through the mall, your chance of getting into a fight are way higher than going around the outside. But also, if you go around the outside, you're much more... if you do get caught by a player or a scav when you're around the outside, you're much more vulnerable because there's much less cover. So it's up to you which choice you want to make. But at this point, you'll have, you know, just an insane amount of stuff. If you have a good run and you have the flea market unlocked, you could potentially have like 2 million plus on your hands right now, depending on what you found during all that. But you can see already, if this was a real run and I died, just to the traders alone, I'm at like 50K or something. So I'm already like extremely profitable on this run if I did a budget build. And especially if I insured everything, then it's just, you just consistently come back. And on average, it's like, all right, every hour on average, if you get good at this, then, you know, you just rack up like a couple 100,000 to the traders per hour. Or if you're the flea market, you rack up like $1 million per hour, or $500,000 per hour or something, depending on what you find, how often you get out and stuff. So yeah, crazy way, but this isn't the only way. The main point of this video I wanted to point out again is you can do this on any map, basically. You just got to pick a map that you like and then either, you know, look up on YouTube the loot routes for it, or just go in practice mode and then just go explore and see if you can find all the different loot routes on different loot spots yourself, whichever way you want to tackle it. But the idea is the same. Figure out the loot routes and then go in with a budget build that's reasonable. Go and try to throw things in the pouch, and then if you get out, you come out with hundreds of thousands or millions if you have the flea market unlocked. So there you go. That's how you can make a crazy amount of money as a new player. And even as a veteran player, you can make a ton of money this way. It's just that if you're actually insanely good at the game and you consistently win firefights, then it's generally better to just go through and have a route like this, but just kill everybody and loot everything and go for the highest value spots and just like be a monster and just win every fight basically, and then just take other people's loot to speed up the process. You know what I mean? But that's it's you and you know which one makes sense for you. But if you don't feel confident in the game and you're dying a lot, you can do this. You can get all the money you need, and then you can use that money in order to buy better gear and go in with better stuff whenever you do want to try to give it your all or play with friends and go in like geared or something like that. But hopefully it helped you out. That is how to make a crazy amount of money as a new player in Escape from Tarkov.